At the start of the tale, we see a girl walking home from her job at night. Because it's late and she's a girl, she's a bit scared to go home. She's also very cautious. When she reaches her apartment, the building's guard stares at her. This feels quite awkward. When she enters her room, there's no light today. She turns on her phone's flashlight and changes her clothes. Then she notices someone else is in the room. She sees her closet has been opened too. This makes her very scared. When she goes to the closet and opens it with shaking hands, no one is inside. She feels some relief, but the next moment, a strange man appears behind her. He makes her smell chloroform and she passes out. Now we see a girl named Kyung-min, who lives in the apartment where this happened. Kyung-min lives here alone. She works at a bank and her room is right below the room where that incident occurred. But now a boy is sleeping with Kyung-min. This boy isn't her boyfriend or husband, so who is this guy? Stay with the story, it'll blow your mind. When Kyung-min wakes up in the morning, she feels very tired. Surprisingly, she looks like she doesn't remember anything from last night. She freshens up, showers, and sits to eat, but she sees her milk packet is empty. She clearly remembered there was a lot of milk left last time. She notices this but is now late for work. She quickly gets ready for the office and sees a man's suit outside her door. This is so no one thinks she lives alone. She locks the door for work and notices the door lock cover is already open. She clearly remembers never leaving it open. This scares her a bit, but she has no time to think about it. She quickly changes the door lock password and heads to the office. Kyung-min works at a bank, selling policies to customers. She's a very good worker, but is quiet and speaks little. Because of this, another employee takes her client right in front of her, and she can't do anything. Though Kyung-min doesn't have many friends, she has a best friend named Hyo-ju, who works at her office. Hyo-ju is a friend who'd give her life for her. In every good and bad moment, she always stands by Kyung-min. While heading home, Hyo-ju tells her why she's so shy. Today, someone took her client and she said nothing. Her face is always sad, but she should always smile. Hyo-ju also explains how to target a client's weakness and sell policies by persuading them. When Kyung-min returns from work at night, the building's security guard gives her a parcel her mother left for her. She goes to open her room's door and sees the lock cover is already open. Someone tried to enter her room. Kyung-min calls her mother and asks if she left the lock cover open. Her mother doesn't know anything about it. Kyung-min is very tired, so she goes to sleep. But before falling asleep, she senses someone at her door. The next moment, someone starts knocking on it. This scares Kyung-min a lot. Then someone tries to break her door lock. Kyung-min is terrified. At this late hour, she lacks the courage to open the door. Still, she gathers her courage and peeks through the door's peephole, seeing no one outside. When she opens the door, no one is there, but there's a cigarette at the door. Kyung-min calls the police and reports it. When the police arrive, they casually say it must be someone from her building. Drunk people often forget their doors. Nothing was stolen from her house. They can't file a case based only on her suspicion. She's already reported uselessly many times. No incident has ever happened to her. After saying this, the police leave Kyung-min, goes to her bed and falls asleep. But at midnight, while she's sleeping soundly, her bathroom door suddenly opens. Someone comes out and sits next to her. He touches her with his hands and sleeps naked beside her. When Kyung-min wakes up in the morning, she suddenly feels dizzy. For the past few days, she's felt very tired every morning. She doesn't know what happens to her at night. Later, when she goes to work, a client named Kim Jong approaches her. He says money isn't transferring from his ATM. Kyung-min helps him and transfers the money instantly. Meanwhile, she asks about his work. Kim says he's a carpenter. Kyung-min tells him if he opens a savings account here, he'll get many benefits and facilities. Kim agrees to open the account, but first he wants to go for coffee with her. Kyung-min refuses at first. Then she says she's not free. Kim gets angry hearing this and says she's refusing because he's just a carpenter. If he had a better job or was rich, she wouldn't refuse. She flirted first, and now when he only asks for coffee, she's saying no. They argue a lot. The argument escalates until the bank manager arrives. Kim keeps arguing. The manager calls the security guard and has him removed. After work at night, Kyung-min goes straight home. She's worried someone might open her door again, so she can't sleep, but nothing happens until she wakes up tonight. As she goes to sleep, a mysterious person comes out from under her bed at midnight. He has chloroform, which he uses to make the sleeping Kyung-min unconscious. Then he brushes, bathes, sets an alarm for 4 a.m. on his watch, and sleeps with Kyung-min. Imagine an unknown person has made a hideout under her bed in her room, and Kyung-min doesn't even know. This is a very intense scene only a girl can truly understand. Friends, stay with the story. What happens next will shock you. The next day, Kyung-min's leave is delayed due to heavy bank work. The night grows late. She's waiting at the bus stop when Kim appears again. He forcibly grabs her hand, insisting she go for coffee with him. He follows Kyung-min. He pulls her hand and drags her away when a car stops. It's the bank manager's car. The manager gets out and scolds Kim Ji-young himself. He threatens that if Kim does this again, he'll be handed to the police. The manager tells Kyung-min to get in his car and drives her home. When Kyung-min enters her room, the lights are off again. She turns on her phone's flashlight when someone knocks on her door. The knocking makes her heart race. Her hands and legs tremble. Then a voice from outside says it's the bank manager. She forgot her wallet in his car, so he came to return it. Kyung-min opens the door and takes her wallet, thanking the manager. He notices there's no light in her room. He offers to come in and check the light, saying he might fix it. Kyung-min agrees and the manager enters to check. He sees the switch is off due to an overload. He turns it on, and the light works. He asks Kyung-min if he can use her washroom to wash his hands. Kyung-min agrees, but first checks the washroom herself. She sees someone used it in her absence. She closed the toilet seat before work, but now it's open. The door was locked, and there's no other way in. How could this be? She changed her door lock password. She notices this odd thing. She starts suspecting her manager. She hadn't told anyone her room number, so how did he find her room in this big building? She asks him how he knew her room number. The manager has no answer and fumbles. As he goes to wash his hands, Kyung-min locks the door and runs downstairs. She calls the police directly. When they arrive and open Kyung-min's door, the sight inside makes her soul shiver. Someone killed the manager and hung him from the door. No one is there except Kyung-min, so suspicion falls on her. The police take her to the station for questioning. They suspect Kyung-min hired someone to kill the manager. A detective named Lee questions her, saying she lives alone, and they found men's items in her room. She called the police to her room as a suspect many times. Maybe she planned this long ago. She must explain why she did it. Kyung-min has no answers and just cries. She's innocent, but all evidence is against her. The detective suspects her, but other detectives tell Lee they found no evidence against Kyung-min. With no evidence, the police release her. After the manager's sudden death, the bank is in mourning. The strangest thing is the manager died not elsewhere, but in Kyung-min's home. This starts Kyung-min's troubles. When she returns to work, her boss says clearly that keeping her will cause problems, so they can't employ her. Kyung-min is ruthlessly fired. She packs her things and returns home in despair. Already in a bad state, she now has no job. Kyung-min goes to her building guard and asks to see the CCTV footage. The guard agrees but says the building's cameras have been broken for a long time. Only the lift camera works. He offers to show its recording. He adds that if she suspects someone in her room, he can check it. Still scared, Kyung-min brings the guard to her room. He searches every corner but finds nothing. He says no one's here, and if she has issues, she can tell him downstairs. The guard leaves. While cleaning her room, Kyung-min sees something shiny under the closet. It's a door unlock card. Holding it, she wonders which door it belongs to. She tries it on her door, but it doesn't work. She believes it must fit somewhere in the building. With hope, she goes floor by floor, scanning the card at every door. It doesn't work for any, but when she scans it at the room just above hers, the lock opens. Remember what happened in this room at the movie's start. Entering this mysterious room, her soul trembles. Things are scattered everywhere. It looks like no human lives here, but an animal it seems no one has lived here for months. The girl who lived here was Kang Seon. She works at the same bank as Kyung-min and Hyoju. The bank job's advantage was tracking when, where, and how much money she spent. Using transaction history, Kyung-min and Hyoju learn Kang Seon buys items for $3.20 each time, always at the same time and from the same grocery mall. This is odd. They decide to visit that grocery store to investigate. It's not yet 1 p.m. when Kang Seon buys things. They call her, but she doesn't answer. Hyoju texts her, but the message isn't read. No callback or reply comes for a long time. Kyung-min says they must go to the mall where she buys repeatedly to find out what's happening. They reach the mall where Kang Seon buys the same amount each time. They sit on a bench waiting for 1 p.m. as the clock ticks. At exactly 1 p.m., she enters the store. She buys the $3.20 item and leaves quietly. They follow her, and after a while she vanishes from their sight. Hyoju decides they must split up to catch her. If she finds her, she'll call immediately. They separate, and further on, Kyung-min sees a cat eating the same item the girl bought. After eating, the cat goes through a gate. Kyung-min follows the cat and moves forward. She sees an old house with a digital lock on the door. She thinks Kang Seon is inside. She tries different passwords, but the door doesn't open. Disappointed, she's about to leave when she remembers and tries her room's password. The door opens. Kyung-min is terrified but enters bravely. Inside another room, the sight stops her breath. She sees Kang Seon from a distance, tied to a bed. She's in bad shape, nearly half dead. Seeing this, Kyung-min runs away scared. She calls Hyoju, who's still following the girl. Kyung-min's condition worsens, and a man approaches, scaring her. She hides under the bed without wasting time. The man enters, takes out an injection, and gives it to Kang Seon. He tells others he'll kidnap the girl in the room below. That means Kyung-min. She hears this from under the bed. Her soul trembles, knowing she's next. As the man leaves, Kyung-min tries to escape, but he returns. He wears a mask, so she can't see his face. When he removes the sheet from Kang Seon, it's clear he cut both her legs. Kyung-min's face pales. If she makes a sound, she's done. Kyung-min escapes the room. She sees him about to cut Kang Seon with an axe. She'd heard his plan. She wants to help Kang Seon but can't. She had a chance to flee, but her legs fail her. Hyoju's call comes on her phone. The dangerous man stands behind Kyung-min and says her phone fell. Hearing this, she runs. He chases her, but she tricks him and hides in a shop. He knows she's in the shop. As he opens the shutter, she has no escape. Before he can harm her, Hyoju arrives and attacks him, but he throws Hyoju to the ground. Before he kills Kyung-min, the police arrive and he flees. After this incident, the detective asks Kyung-min about the man's appearance. She couldn't see his face due to the mask, but says he wore an old watch. The police visit the scene and find Kang Seon's body in a dumpster, cut into pieces. This means the beast cut her up and dumped her in such a short time. They arrest Kim on suspicion, as he'd harassed Kyung-min before he has the same old watch as the killer. Kim insists he's innocent. He didn't do anything. Yes, he followed Kyung-min once, angry that day, but he's not crazy enough to kill someone, especially not in such a brutal way. The detective shows him a photo of the cut body in the dumpster. Kim blurts out, "It looks bitten by ants." This makes the detective more suspicious. Kim explains he's a carpenter and knows tools well. After this, Kyung-min moves to a new room, knowing she's the killer's next target. She shifts her things when someone knocks on her door. Knocking already scares her, so she's terrified. Opening the door, it's a delivery boy with her parcel. She takes it and opens it, finding the phone she left at the killer's house. Turning it on, she gets photos. The next day, a video call shows the killer at Hyoju's house. To save her friend, Kyung-min rushes to Hyoju's house but forgets to lock her door. The killer plans to do to Hyoju what he did to the girl. Kyung-min arrives, but the door is locked. She tries to break the lock. Kim appears out of nowhere. The police released him for lack of evidence. He attacks Kyung-min. She fights back, but he overpowers her and beats her until the police arrive and arrest him. Kyung-min checks on Hyoju inside. The killer cut both her legs, but he's gone. Kim is suspected and arrested as the murderer. Hyoju is hospitalized, and Kyung-min blames herself for her condition. Hyoju says it's not her fault, she'll recover soon, so Kyung-min should rest, as she looks tired before going home. The detective gives Kyung-min a penguin spy camera to install in her room so police can monitor. Kyung-min returns and sets it up. Later, at the grocery store for supplies, she sees her old building's security guard. At first, she doesn't recognize him. He reminds her he's the guard from her old building. He talks oddly. He asks if she's safe in her new house, now that the killer's caught, so she shouldn't worry. Kyung-min isn't interested in talking, but he insists she buys her items and leaves. She hears a $3.20 bill at the counter belonging to the guard friends. Recall, Kang Seon is dead. A man used her card for $3.20 daily. Kyung-min notices the guard wears the same old watch as the killer. This points to the guard as the killer. She suspects him. She rushes to her room and calls the police. They say they released Kim on bail, but someone murdered him. This means Kim wasn't the killer. It's someone else. The police suspect the guard from Kyung-min's old building. After Kim's murder, he vanished. They tell Kyung-min to stay safe, as the killer is still out there. Kyungmin is terrified. Checking her Penguin spy camera's recording, she sees the killer was in her room. He removes his mask. Kyungmin gasps. The killer is the security guard, hiding under the bed she's sitting on. Friends, this is the film's scariest scene. The victim sits on the bed, and the killer is beneath. Kyungmin's hands and legs shake badly. The killer under the bed senses something's wrong. Before she can escape, he grabs her and kidnaps her to an old hotel. When Kyungmin wakes, the guard is before her. He says if she can escape, she should. But if he catches her, he'll cut her legs. He says he always liked her, but she never cared because he's just a guard. There were always fights around her. That's why he killed them all. Kyungmin cries. The guard quiets her and comforts her with affection. Kyungmin cuts her ear and escapes the room, but every path is blocked. She hides in a room to save her life. Her bad luck fails her. The killer comes out of that room. He knows she's hiding there. He has an axe and cuts Kyungmin into pieces. The detective arrives just in time, but in the dark, he can't see the killer. The dangerous killer attacks the detective with an axe from behind and kills him. Kyungmin's last hope of survival is gone. She must fight to live. Her only choice is to fight or die. She bravely faces the killer, but he overpowers her and throws her away. Kyungmin's head hits a cupboard and she's injured. The building is old, so the cupboard was weak. It falls on both, they're trapped under it and badly injured. Kyungmin uses all her strength to push the killer hard. His head hits a large nail, piercing it, and he dies. In the movie's final scene, Kyungmin is declared innocent. She killed the killer in self-defense. After this, her life changes completely. When walking in crowds, she's always alert. After entering her room, she checks every corner first. With this, the story ends here. Goodbye to all.